Lot to talk about this week. Of course, the inauguration in Washington, which was a really amazing display, as always, to see the transfer of power and the swearing in of a new president. But also, word out of Lansing, Governor Whitmer is coming up with a large budget and money that she wants to put towards COVID. And then also the news that Kwame Kilpatrick's sentence was commuted by former President Trump and that he will be going free soon. And of all of those things, Stephen, you say that got the most traction of people that you were talking about today.
Oh my goodness! When we opened the phones on the radio show on WDET, Nolan wanted to talk about inauguration. Everybody wanted to talk about Kwame, and it's amazing to me, whether you are for him or against him, how much hold he still seems to have on Detroiters, how much emotional investment there still seems to be. He's been gone from the mayor's office for 12 years. We've moved on in this city in some really important ways. But boy, if he comes back, he will be the center of a lot of attention.
So that's the question. If he comes back, and we saw the statement from Mayor Duggan saying that he still has so much good to do. And Nolan, you're saying he should not come back to Detroit.
No, and I mean, if you look at what the damage he's done to the city, I don't know if he's got any good left in him to do, but the investigators believe that he and Bobby Ferguson, their criminal enterprise, took $75 million from the taxpayers of at the time, one of the most financially distressed cities in America. His actions contributed mightily to this city going into bankruptcy, to people losing their pensions, their benefits, getting their pay cut. He is not a hero. He destroyed the lives of so many talented young people some of them who went to jail because they were part of his inner circle. And to celebrate him as some kind of Detroit hero and welcome him back as a prodigal son, I'm not for it.
What do you think it is, Stephen, that is still resonating with people?
Well, I spent a lot of time thinking about this. I mean, I am very much of a split mind about this in some ways. I mean, I think, look, everybody deserves another chance. I believe in redemption. I think sending him away for 28 years really condemned him to the end of a productive life, and I don't believe in that. But Nolan's right. I mean, this is somebody who betrayed us and did incredible damage to the city, and I don't have an easy way to figure how you just wipe that away either. But the emotional hold that he has on us really speaks to the promise, I think, that he had, and how charismatic he was when he was mayor, especially in that second term. I mean, if you remember the things he did to win that second term, the confidence he won in Detroiters, and some of the things that he was really delivering on for this city, it still really matters to people. And it's hard, I think, to accept that somebody like that did what he did. I think a lot of Detroiters identify with him in the sense that, as an African-American man who is caught up in the criminal justice system, which we all know is imbalanced against us, there's a lot to sort out there. And I think we're just starting to see how Detroiters are going to do it.
Well, it was one of the last acts President Trump did while he was in office, and that leads us to the inauguration this week. And really, I think the expectations now that we see on the Biden administration. I just want to take a step back, though, and acknowledge the history that happened this week. And watching the inauguration, and with my oldest daughter, who was specifically touched when we saw Kamala Harris come walking out and then taking the oath as the vice president. Nolan, talk to me a little bit about what your expectations are for the Biden administration now.
Well, I'm not optimistic. Up until this point, it's been all about getting rid of Trump, and that's all that's been sort of expected of him. Win the election, get rid of Trump, seemed to be all anyone cares about. Now, we're looking at what it's actually going to mean in terms of policy, in terms of direction of the nation. I wasn't encouraged by this first set of executive orders. I think many of them risk harming an economy that's already struggling. I think the energy policies, America has ridden this cheap energy boom. And I fear that's about to go away, and with it, a whole lot of jobs and a whole lot of prosperity.
Stephen, what are your expectations? I see that you totally disagree with what Nolan said.
I think it's funny that Republicans, you think of the last two Republican presidents, what kind of condition we've been in when they left office. When George Bush left in 2009, we were losing 700,000 jobs a month. President Trump leaves with nearly 500,000 Americans dead from a pandemic and the economy in almost as bad a shape as what Bush left it in. I'm not worried. I think what I'm worried about is who the next Republican is who'll come along and win and what they'll do. Democrats have always, seems now, left in the position of cleaning up the mess that the Republican who preceded them left behind. And you talk about prosperity going away. It's gone. It's gone because this administration couldn't manage the things that have happened to us in the last 12 months.
Well, I don't think we're going to be able to have the luxury to look 4 years or 8 years down the road to when the next Republican comes in. But I do think that we're going to have to figure out how Democrats and Republicans work together moving forward in looking at if you're holding Republicans accountable, if they lined up behind President Trump in these last couple of weeks. And I saw, someone writing something about the false choice between unity and accountability right now. Where does this leave the Republican Party, Nolan?
Well, the Republican Party's in shambles, and in terms of unity, this narrative that there's got to be some sort of atonement for blood on their hands. There's got to be a reprogram. We've got to treat anybody who supported Trump, and that's 75 million Americans, as if they were Confederates and have to swear a loyalty oath. I think that's not going to serve the cause of unity. But Donald Trump suggested yesterday that he might form a new party. And God, I hope he does. And I hope he takes all these people who have trashed the Republican Party over the last several years with him and give the party a chance to return to its traditional values, its traditional roots, and, end all of this nonsense that we've seen out of the Trumpites and before them, the Tea Party. They have not helped the Republican Party.
And should that, though, include, Stephen, the people in Congress, in the Senate, and in the House who did not want to certify the election?
Well, there's no other word for them than infidel. This has happened before in our history. 1861, a large number of people in Congress refused to certify the election. They weren't seated. They were put out. I don't think there's any equivocation that you can have about this. The posture that a large percentage of the party has taken is traitorous. It is about trying to end the democratic experiment as we know it in order for them to hold power. If Donald Trump wants to take those folks and start a new party, I guess that's okay. But the Republican Party does own that at this point, and it goes back way there before Donald Trump too.
Nolan, does the Republican Party own this?
Well, portions of the Republican Party do, but when you talk about punishing people for the steps they took challenging the elections, I opposed challenging the election at every step, but they followed the process set out in the law that allowed for legal challenges. I don't know how you punish people who did not break the law. They may have acted despicably, and you pay a price at the ballot box for that, and I expect many of them will.